Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Level 1 Introductory Session. I'm Kat Banakis from the Analytics team here at GGNA, and today we'll be covering several topics. Let me just get this going here. So we'll be looking at what is DonorScape, how to search for prospects, how to export search results, how to explore, update, and export profiles, how to add new prospects, and then, sorry, you know what, we're having some technical difficulties, so give us 1 second on the audio and we're going to start again. Hold 1 second. All right, we're starting. I'm Kat Banakis from the Analytics team here at GGNA, and welcome to the webinar Level 1 Introductory Training Session. This is our first in a series of 4 training sessions for new users to DonorScape. And this Level 1 Introductory Session is what the vast majority of DonorScape users will need. The subsequent training sessions are for higher and higher levels of administrative users. Today we're going to go over what is DonorScape in general, how to search for prospects, how to export search results, how to explore, update, and export a prospect profile, and how to add new prospects to the system. Some of you may only need the training up through how to export search results, and I'll make it clear at that point whether or not folks want to go on, but understanding the background of all of the data in the second half of the session may be useful as well. I am joined today by my colleague, Lana Buseman.
We'll be stopping throughout the webinar to answer your questions. Please direct your questions to the host, which is under the name Anthony. Any questions that we aren't able to get to during the session will be answered as part of the follow-up transcript that we'll email out to registrants. If at any point during the webinar you are experiencing any technical difficulties, please send me an email at lbuseman@grensglier.com. That's LBUSEMAN@GRENZGLIER.com, or call our meeting provider WebEx directly at 866-229-3239, 866-229-3239.
And finally, in accordance with legal provisions, I need to tell you that all names presented during this and all GGNA DonorScape training sessions are from public records and bear no relationship to any GGNA client institutions. The names have been appended with fictional giving and relationship data and are included for demonstration purposes only. So let us begin. What is DonorScape? DonorScape is a cloud-based suite of prospect analysis services developed from over 50 years of fundraising best practices research here at GGNA and analysis at leading nonprofit institutions. There are 2 key functions within DonorScape: wealth screening and predictive modeling. We refer to our wealth screening code as the gift capacity rating. And this gift capacity rating is a code that corresponds to a dollar value estimate, defined as an individual's capacity to give a gift over 5 years to a single institution. So when we're talking about their gift capacity rating or their wealth screening code, that is how much we are estimating that this individual could give over a 5-year span to one given institution. It does not include affinity to your institution. It is just wealth screening. And so a gift capacity rating of 1 corresponds to the ability to give more than $10 million or $2 million a year over the next 5 years. A gift capacity rating of 2 corresponds to the ability to give somewhere between $200,000 and $2 million a year over the next 5 years, and so on and so forth down the line. Now, the gift capacity rating is going to change. It's going to change over time based on updates from our outside data sources. It's going to change based on updates that you provide. If you find out that somebody has a new job, has a new home address, have retired from a certain position, all of these things will influence their wealth screening. And it will also change based on the match quality rating. Now, the match quality rating is a measure of how sure we are that the John Smith in your database is the same John Smith whose property record we have found. Exact is our most verified level of match quality rating. So an exact match would be that your John Smith in your database is at 23 Main Street in Springfield, Illinois. And we have found a property record from our real estate source also for a John Smith at 23 Main Street in Springfield, Illinois. Down at the simple level, though, you have John Smith at 23 Main Street, Springfield, Illinois in your database. The record that we have found is for a John Smith in the state of Illinois. So as you can imagine, if we were including all assets for all John Smiths in the state of Illinois, your prospect is going to look far wealthier than if we were to include just the most verified matches. For every single piece of data that we have matching to your prospect, it is going to receive one of these 4 match quality ratings: exact, near, possible, or simple. And here we've given the near example where Sally was listed as a spouse. So near matches are generally going to be spouse matches. These filter into a composite score for each prospect overall of their gift capacity rating. So each prospect has 4 gift capacity ratings as well. They've got an exact only gift capacity rating, including just the exact data matches, an exact near gift capacity rating that includes exact and near matches, an exact near possible rating that's going to include exact near possible, and an exact near possible and simple rating that will include all 4 types of data matches. When you are just starting out, and for preliminary screening, most of our clients have found that it is most helpful to start at the exact near level. This is, of course, going to eliminate possible and simple matches that may very well be your same John Smith, the same prospect, but it's the quickest filter to eliminate most false positives. Certainly, there will be things that slip in at the near level that are not your prospect's household, but if you're going for a quick pass, exact and near is the place to start. If you're trying to do a deep dive on a person and really want to get to know them, then absolutely it's worth looking into the possible and even the simple matches, recognizing that many of them may not be your person. Many of our clients also have predictive modeling ratings. Now, these ratings are inclination codes, so they're going to be looking at propensity for major gifts, annual gifts, plan gifts, as well as demographic profile codes specific to your institution. The predictive modeling ratings take into account timing and frequency of giving to your organization, participation at your organization, demographic information, wealth indicators, and they are a one-time snapshot. So we are looking at your population relative to itself and saying, okay, of the entire population, these are your best major gift prospects, your best plan giving prospects. These annual fund folks should be giving year over year at a specific level. And it is looking just at that population right then. New records that are added into the system will not receive a predictive modeling rating because any of those records added in would force all of the predictive modeling codes for all of the other records to recalibrate. So new records added in will receive a gift capacity rating, but they won't receive these predictive modeling ratings. Similarly, these predictive modeling ratings don't change over time. They are just looking at that population at that moment. So when we log into the account, we'll be looking at an account with both gift capacity ratings and predictive modeling ratings. But when you log into your account, some of you will have just the gift capacity ratings. There is a great deal of detail and granularity, as well as a handy-dandy one-page cheat sheet on all of these codes and definitions available at our support site. And let me jump over to there so we can see it. So this is our support site, and you can see here you can download the complete user's guide, and that's going to have information on all of the codes as well as all of our vendor imports, everything like that. And here is our quick reference to all of our gift codes. That's a handy one-pager. Without further ado then, I am going to jump into the application itself. So all of this information is held in a web-based format at www.mydonorscape.com. We are working at 128-bit encryption, which is the same as your bank. We are a very secure site. And you are entitled to as many usernames and passwords as you would like to have at your site. The only provision is that no two people can be logged in as the same person at the same time. So absolutely set up a new username for each person who you're going to have logging in. And make sure that that username is connected to an accurate and valid email address. Because if you ever forget your password or need to reset it, the way that we communicate that is through this reset password that goes to the email on record. So make sure that that is accurate. All right, I am going to go ahead and log into our demo account here. And we are taken into the site. DonorScape is set up with 3 core functions: explore prospects, which is where we'll be spending the vast majority of our time together today; add new prospects, which is where you would add new people into the system; and generate insights, which is the ability to do a high-level visualization of your population as a whole. So the Explore Prospects tab is where we're going to be exploring your prospects. And if you want to pull up all of the prospects in your database, from this simple search function, we're just going to hit the search button in the bottom right. And this is going to bring over a tile of the entire population. Here we've got an entire population of 10,008 prospects, of which we're seeing the first 15. And we are seeing them at all match quality ratings, exact, near, possible, and simple. If I wanted to filter out the less verified data on these, I would just click to near, and that's going to filter out the possible and simple matches. And we can see here that we've got some summary level information on our population. We are looking at the name, the relationship when present, age, total giving, home state, high-level asset information, income, real estate, securities, and other. Other is including both pension as well as some corporate assets. The gift capacity rating in the code as well as the dollar amount. And then here are some of those predictive modeling codes. And if I were to hover over the question mark, it's going to give me key level information about what all of those codes are. Also listed here is the prospect ID. Now, in DonorScape, we use the prospect ID as what's called in database geek speak the unique identifier. So because you could have two Don Soffers, the prospect ID is what differentiates one record from another record. We use whatever prospect ID you have submitted with your data submission. In the vast majority of cases, that's going to be whatever ID you use in your donor management system. In cases, though, where it's nightly patient admits or you don't yet have an ID in your donor management system for the person, then it is whatever you have attributed as the prospect ID. And I'll show you later how you can change that. So we've pulled up here our entire population. I'm going to go back and pull up just a subset. And to do that, I'm going to toggle back to the search results. And here I can pull up just one person, either through their prospect ID or their name. So here I'm going to pull up, whoa, not Peter Nolan. And I'm going to hit search. And that brings up just the one record. And then I'm going to clear the filters and pull up, I'm going to pull up everyone who could give $100,000 or more and is in the state of California. So for that, I need to set my gift capacity rating at 1, 2, 3, or 4. And I'm just going to move the slider over so that I'm including between 1 and 4. And then indicate the state of California. Hit search. And that is bringing up the 251 people who are in the state of California and can give $100,000 or more over 5 years. If I were to change the match quality rating here, the number of people satisfying the terms of that search are going to change because I'm including less verified assets. So with the possible and simple matches, there are 329 prospects who could give $100,000 or more over 5 years in the state of California. But I'm going to limit it back to exact and near. And then I can directly export this list into Excel. First, I need to go to the gear setting in the export settings and tell the system what fields I want the Excel to contain. So I'm going to say I want their ID, their name, their age, their address, custom fields, and then I want near and exact ratings and the assigned solicitor. That'll work for today. I'm going to save my preferences. And then I'm going to click the export arrow, and it tells me that I'm going to create an Excel. Do I wish to proceed? I do. And then an email will be sent to you once the file is ready to download. Okay. While that is generating, I'm going to go back and recreate the same search we just did for these people in California, but do it through the advanced search function. Just for a sense of scale, the system will generate about 500 records in a minute, so it'll take just a moment for that particular export to run. But if you're doing 100,000 records, something like that, it'll take many minutes. And you are welcome to log off the system after you've gotten the confirmation that you'll be sent an email. It will continue running in the background. So now I'm going to go to advanced search. And if I wanted to pull up an advanced search that I had created before, that would be something I would pull up from the bottom right here where it says select. And so I'm going to pull up California top 1 to 4. And that is the same search that I created through simple search. It's just that in advanced search, you can search on most any field in the record, and we're going to do it through these drop-downs with Boolean connectors. So here on the first line, I chose constituent information, then state. And here, you see that there are a number of client fields as well as text fields. These client fields are fields that you can populate with whatever information you would like, and the administrator can give them a different title. So here we've retitled client fields 1 and 2 as gala attendee and area of interest, but yours might be secondary school preference or date of admission or something like that. But those will auto-populate as drop-downs here. So I'm saying I want state equal to California. And then in the second drop-down, I'm adding an additional limiter. So I'm going to say giving and ratings, gift capacity rating, less than 5. So that's going to bring in ratings between 1 and 4. But I actually want to modify this. I want to say that I want everyone who is in California or Alaska. So here we can see we've got 251 people in California only. But if I want to add in Alaska, I am going to use the operator in for the ability to have multiples of the same type. So I'm going to say in CA, comma, AK. And that is going to bring in an additional 9 people who have a gift capacity rating between 1, 2, 3, and 4 in Alaska or California. I am going to rename it and click Save and Search. And that is going to bring up the 260 people in California or Alaska. At our support site, we have a number of templates and examples of the most popular advanced searches to run, and also how to recreate the predictive modeling delivery deck in advanced searches. So if you're looking to create a specific advanced search of your population, check out the support site, and if you're still having any questions about it, give us a call and we're happy to help you create that search. In the time that we were creating that search, our Excel file is ready to download from our export that we had kicked off. So I'll just go ahead and download that file. If my email were open, which it isn't, I would have gotten an email that said that my file was ready to download. And when you do get that email and look back in, just log out, log back in, switch to another tab, come back in, and then you just want to hit this little notebook thing to bring up the download file confirmation. So once you get back in, once you've got the confirmation, hit this guy, and your download will be ready. So here we're looking at our 251 prospects and all of the fields that we requested export on for them, as well as their ratings at exact, near, and exact only. So I am going to pause here and just see if there are any questions so far and give you all a minute to message into Lana as host if you have any questions. And also, for some of you, this will be as much as you want to know about the system. I'm going to move into looking at an individual prospect record and what our data sources are, and some background granularity on that, as well as how to change match quality ratings and how to do some basic prospect research. But if you're really just looking to pull lists on a regular basis and filter, this may be all you would like to know, and I will not be offended by that. If you're looking to pull a list for travel, you would want to search by some gift capacity rating, or gift capacity rating plus top major gift prospects, annual giving prospects, that sort of thing, and then generally limit by geography as well. MSA is Metropolitan Statistic Area, and the support site includes all the documentation on that if you were doing an event or travel to a specific metropolitan area. Okay. No questions so far. If they come to you later, feel free to write in. And so now I'm going to pull up just one record, and we're going to look into just the one record and how we got their score. So this time I'm going to look them up by ID. Same person, Peter Nolan. And I'm going to click on his name to pull up just his record. There we go. So here we are looking at Peter's record. I'm going to expand it out to include simple matches just so I can show you more data sources. And on the left here, we're looking at his summary. We've got his name, his ID, the last time his record was rescreened, which was July of 2011. I have the option here to rescreen the prospect, which means we would run him against our databases again. There's no cost to rescreening individual records, and it doesn't count against your search total. Generally, it would, a major life event of some sort would be required for a person's gift capacity rating to change. Changing jobs, changing properties, something like that. So it's not as though you need to be rescreening people every day. About once a year is what you need. Deleting the record here, you would just click this icon. We're looking at his age, 72, and a primary property listed in Seal Beach. His gift capacity rating at exact, near, possible, and simple is more than 10 million. And even though he's a high gift capacity rating, he is a weak major gift prospect. He has not shown this institution a lot of love in the past. And then going down, his other predictive modeling ratings are cascading there. Before we look into his wealth match records, I'm going to quickly click on prospect details so that we can see what the institution submitted about him. We've got his name, his age, his ID. We have a submitted home address of 203 2nd Street in Seal Beach. We've got about $7,000 in giving, no spouse, no business. He's not assigned a gift solicitor. So that's all she wrote on him. If I wanted to edit any of this information, I could. I would just click Edit. And then I could update any of these fields from his name to his age to his ID, address, if we got spouse information, anything like that. And then I would just click Save. And, whoops, we got a servlet error. Sorry about that. Let's jump back over. That is a goof. We would have just clicked Save, and then if we wanted to incorporate those changes into his record, we would reload the browser. And if we wanted to rescreen him entirely with that new information, we would click Rescreen Prospect. So let's look into him a bit. So we know that we're looking at Peter Nolan at Seal Beach in Seal Beach, California. So we've pulled up to the top here the information that is really driving his score. We've got financial information, giving and philanthropic affiliation, and biography. And you can see these little check marks here. These are where there are multiple sources for a piece of information. So here with income, we could be getting the information either from Market Guide, where we have 5 matches totaling $567,000, or we could be getting the information from Axiom, which is our outside demographic append. Some of you will have Axiom, some of you won't. Those of you who don't are always welcome to purchase Axiom a la carte, which is why we have this little enhanced data piece here. So we can see here that for income, we're using Market Guide. For real estate, we're using LexisNexis. But if the Axiom number had been higher in either case, the check mark would be next to Axiom, not next to Market Guide or LexisNexis. If I click on these little arrows here, it's going to give me high-level summary information about the data matches. I'm going to click here, and it is showing us summary level information. We've got an exact on both for these 2 properties for Peter Nolan. Our real estate source is LexisNexis Real Properties, which is based on quarterly county assessor reports. From this page here, I could do a quick change of the match quality rating. If I, for some reason, didn't think that these were an exact match, I can move them down to a possible or a simple, or I could delete them entirely from his record. If I wanted to look into even more detail on these matches, though, I would click on the 2 matches, and it's going to take me to the full property records. So here we've got his property at 203 2nd Street in Seal Beach. It's an exact match, matching on first name, last name, home street, home city, home state, home zip, and home metropolitan statistic area. And I want to point out an important thing here. We know that this is the same Peter Nolan matching to the same property. Because of that, we have just discovered his middle initial, which is going to help us to verify a vast amount of information about his record going forward. Because for any matches that are for a Peter Nolan with a different middle initial, we know it's not the same person. And Lexis is also going to pull in any properties that send their tax bills to the same address. So here we've got a River Street property in Boston that's also sending its tax bill to the Seal Beach address in California. Same principle would apply if primary residence was in New Jersey, but there's a secondary property in Boca, something like that. From here, we can also change the match quality ratings or delete the records entirely. Either one is going to have the same effect, whether you change it from the summary page or here, that your changes and deletions will be honored. So, and the same principle is going to apply to all of our data sources. So if I'm looking at this market guide source, I can press this little arrow and see that we have a number of possible matches. And I could see them in greater detail by clicking on the matches. So here we have an interesting thing. We've got all of these different middle initials. We have one for Peter M. Nolan and a bunch for Peter J. Nolan, not the right prospect. So what I would do here is the Dole Food is the correct one. So I would change that match quality rating up to an exact and either move to simple or delete all of the other matches. And same principle would apply here for SEC. Our stock source is SEC Insider, which means that we get matches where a person is the owner of 10% or more of company stock, sits on the board, or is a senior officer. None of these are our Peter, hence they're possible matches. And then we move to the giving and philanthropic affiliation info, FEC, Federal Election Campaign information, a total of 24 matches. Only the first 5 will display in this initial summary here. Total giving your info refers to that box that we looked at in the prospect details where it indicated total giving that you had submitted to your institution, and you would change that under the prospect details tab. Waltman Donor is one of our charitable sources. GuideStar Public and GuideStar Private, as I'm sure many of you are familiar with, are the clearinghouses for nonprofits and take into account the 990s and 991s that include everyone who sits on the boards of those organizations. Waltman Director is a database of people who sit on the boards of nonprofit organizations. And then we have general biographic info. Dun & Bradstreet is a corporate source, and here where you have historical match, this indicates that it is a match found in the archives of Dun & Bradstreet. The dollar value associated with Dun & Bradstreet isn't being wrapped into their score, but we include it for biographical information. So in this case, if we were to look at that some of these historical matches, we've got this historic match for Peter M. Nolan at Dole Foods. This is the same person, but he must have retired from there at some point or is no longer on the books there. Again, Market Guide, Reuters Market Guide is a corporate source, and it provides a handy-dandy paragraph on the person and the organization, which is great for prospect verification. CorpTech is similar to Dun & Bradstreet and Reuters Market Guide in that it's a corporate source, but it's only going to include information for tech companies. Axiom, again, is our demographic outside source, and we'll have a great deal of information in it if you go into the Axiom tab. And Axiom uses consumption patterns, other things about what's happening at the household level in terms of everything they purchase, every frequent flyer, frequent shopper. So it is down to the household level, but it is proximal. So they're able to say that the property is worth something in a range, financial is worth something in a range, the age is something in a range. And then your information refers to the information that you have submitted about their demographics. And Marquis Who's Who is a whole collection of Who's Who guides. So it's going to have civic information, publications, degrees, family information, and full detail on that is available on the match there as well. The information included in this card is going to be filtered by what you set the match quality rating at up here. So you'll see when I move down to simple, some of these matches will fall away. And likewise, it limits his gift capacity rating to just that exact near level as well. Okay, so it looks like we have a question. Okay, this question is about the Metropolitan Statistic Area, the MSA codes, and those are all found on the support site. When you go to the support site, just type in MSA, and it'll take you to the reference page for that. And if there are any questions so far about what we've just gone over here, send them in. Okay, we can run a report in Word on just an individual prospect here through this little notebook paper icon. The detail on the different reports is under the question mark, but basically we have 4 different lengths of reports. Summary being a 1-pager, full report, including a separate entry for every stock transaction, every SEC donation, everything you could want, and then tear sheet and prospect profile being somewhere in between. So I'm going to run a summary level report, which is just a 1-page snapshot for Peter Nolan. Whatever you set the match quality rating at is what the report will include. So in this case, when I'm going to click this 1-page summary report, it's going to only include exact and near data for Nolan. It intentionally is a fairly raw Word data report, with the expectation being that when you're creating profiles for gift officers or something like that, you would have to put it into your own format anyway. So this is for you to get the data out and put it in whatever your dossier format is. We have a couple other tabs here that I want to point out. The first is the social network tab, which is going to include other matches. So let me jump back. What the social network is going to show us is other people who are on the board of the same institutions that your prospect is listed as serving on the board of. So when we jump over to social network, we see that there are that this functionality is possible for these 5 databases: GuideStar Private, GuideStar Public, SEC, Market Guide, and DNB. So if I click on GuideStar Private, it's spooling and it's thinking, and it's going to pull up the other individuals who sit on the same board of GuideStar Public, the institution that Peter Nolan does. So he's listed as sitting on the board of the Children's Bureau Foundation. So here it's pulling up everyone else who sits on the board of the Children's Bureau Foundation, or the Rotary Club of Cameron Park Foundation. And here where it says prospect, if any of these individuals listed was also a prospect in your database, then it would have a Y next to this person's name under the prospect column. And if any of them were assigned to a specific gift officer, it would have the gift officer's name here. So that way, if you were trying to figure out how to develop a relationship with Peter Nolan, who else might be a way into getting to know him, you would be able to see here other people at your institution that are prospects that might be a connection to him. And if I were to click this download button here, it would spit out an Excel of all of the Who Knows Who tables at once, SEC, Market Guide, DNB, and the 2 guide stars. The notes function here is where you can keep notes on your prospect research and on the prospect. Certainly, your donor management system day-to-day is what's going to have the most updated meeting reports, address, information, everything like that. But in this, you could put in something about what you had verified so far, whether this record had been cleaned, something like that. So I just click Save Note, and then I could delete or edit any of those notes. The custom ratings calculator allows us to run a hypothetical about our prospects. So here you can see under the hood what is driving a person's score. We've got income, we've got real estate, we've got SEC, and we also can run this hypothetical of what their score would be if certain things were excluded. So say it was a really bad day, the entire stock market crashed, and you wanted to know what Peter Nolan's record would be, his score, if you didn't include any stock transaction. I would click Recalculate, and without stock, his gift capacity rating goes from a 1 down to a 4. It's not going to permanently change his record in the system because we have to stand by our rating and our data sources, but it does allow you to see what the record would be, the rating would be sort of back of the envelope if certain things were excluded. I should say that many of our clients find it really useful to import all of their prospects' ratings at the exact near or exact near possible level, something like that, into their donor management system so that they can use that day-to-day also. So that's certainly an option. Okay, I am going to move now. That is the sum of what I have prepared for you on Explore Prospects. So in our last few minutes here, I'm going to jump quickly to add new prospects and generate insights. Add new prospects is where you would add new prospects into the system. You can add them one at a time here through this tab. You can see how many new prospects you have remaining and your expiration date here. So you would just fill in their name, their address, however much information you have, and click Search, and you would get a summary of the possible matches on them here. And then if you wanted to submit the record and actually use one of your searches for it, you'd hit Submit. We allow you to submit up to 5,000 names at a time through the Add Multiple Prospects feature, and I'll go over that in detail in the next training, the DonorScape Level 2 training. And finally, I want to look at the Generate Insights tab. As I said, this is a high-level visualization of your prospect pool. For those of you who have predictive modeling codes, there are high-level reports available for major gifts, PRISM, annual fund, and donor sustainability, which is your major gifts by age. So if I were to run the major gift potential report, I would be looking at gift capacity rating and major gift code. I could then select a relationship. So I want to see just alumni, my bias, alumni, and then I want to see only those who are not assigned to a gift officer. I hit generate report, and this is showing me all of the alums not assigned to a gift officer and what their gift capacity, the number of people who are a certain gift capacity rating and major gift code. All clients, be they predictive modeling or just wealth screening, will have the prospect prioritization report, and I can use the same filters here. So this is going to show me the number of people at each match quality rating and gift capacity rating, and I can filter it by a relationship, and all of your relationships would drop down here, and then by assignment. But I want to see everybody. So I am not going to filter by relationship, and I want to say all prospects. And this is pulling up for me all of the prospects in my database with an assigned match quality rating and gift capacity rating here. So we've got 5 people who are rated 10 million above at ENPS, but 0 at exact only going on down the line. And this table, these reports will update in real time as you add new prospects to the system and as you change the data points in their match quality rating. So if you elevate certain assets or delete certain assets and change their gift capacity, then that's going to change how they report out in these reports. If you were to change people's relationship codes, they would then report out differently here. So in our final few minutes here, I just want to direct your attention quickly up to the Preferences tab. This is where you would set your email, your match preferences, your contact information, and also to direct you again to the support site. This hopefully is chock full with great resources. If you have ideas of things that we should have here and don't, please let us know. We always want it to be of use. Today's recording will be listed here under the webinars and podcasts feature, and here we have case studies from a number of clients and how they've used the data in the past, with specific case studies for theater ticket buyer programs, grateful patient programs, affinity ratings, portfolio analysis, all sorts of things. And I think that that's about it. Thank you all so much for spending some time with us today. The final thing I should, whoops, let's go back here. We are always available here through our hotline support number, which is 866-378-8540, or email us at support@DonorScape.com. We are located in the Central Time Zone, so we are most responsive during Central business hours, but we will get back to you as soon as we can, no matter what. And we just really appreciate you spending this time together with us today. If questions or further thoughts come to you, please email us later today. I'll also stay on the line if you want to chat in some questions in the next few minutes. But for those of you who need to get going on with your day, thank you for this time together, and we really hope that you enjoy using the product and let us know how we can be more helpful to you. Thanks so much.